Sleeves here with the Senior Pickleball Report powered by TNC Network. Let's get it going. Okay, today we talk with Senior Pro, Champion Tour Pro, and member of the OKC Punishers, Alex Simon. Alex has quite the story of becoming a pro in a very short period of time. But first, if you like this content, consider subscribing to the channel, hit that notification bell, and hey, check out our socials as well, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and obviously YouTube. We also have links in the description for discounts on paddles and shoes, and we have a newsletter. So consider subscribing to that, all that down below. Let's get to that conversation. It's a good one with Alex. Alex Simon, welcome to the Senior Pickleball Report. OKC Punishers, NPL, playing with some high-end pros. Hey, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I think we'd be remiss if we didn't start with the obvious, is you are not the typical story from going from Joe to pro. It was pretty a meteoric rise, so to speak. So let's start with your journey into this goofy wiffle ball game and how you went from entering the game to playing in a professional league to playing with, the #1 singles player in the world in doubles and competing with him on a weekly basis and pushing him to win golds. So let's talk about that first. Where did you start?
Well, I do come from a tennis background, so let's get that out of the way. I am for people that play tennis, I'm a 4-5 tennis player, so I'm not a former pro like Sam Querrey or Jack Sock or anything like that.
Right.
So I'm just a good tennis player. I did play college tennis, and I played a little bit after college. Of course, it was 30 years ago when I played college tennis. I played Division I at the University of Hawaii.
Okay.
I got there on a scholarship. I was raised in Brazil. I came to university, played college, and then I played very little tennis the next few years. I still play a little bit of league, but anyway, they built these pickleball courts next to my house here in Las Vegas, where we live. And I had never heard of pickleball until about 3 years ago. And I saw these courts, I saw some people play, and I said, well, maybe someday I'll take it up. And last year, when I turned 50 in October, I saw so many people playing, I decided, you know what, I want to give this pickleball thing a shot. And but if for people that do know me, when I say give something a shot, it means like I'm going for something big.
Yeah.
And so
you're all in.
I'm all in. That's how I live life, all in.
Yeah.
So I decided on my 50th birthday that I was going to not only start playing pickleball, but I wanted to become a professional pickleball player.
Okay.
So I announced to my wife, I said, listen, honey, I'm going to become a professional pickleball player. And she was surprised, but not, because I do these things quite often where I decide to take on these monster tasks. And she said, okay, but you don't play pickleball. I said, well, that's beside the point. What I'm telling you is I'm going to become a professional pickleball player. Right. And I am eligible for the senior division. So I want to play the senior pro tour. So on October 15th, which was my birthday, my 50th birthday, I signed up. I joined the USAPA. I got my membership, and I said, today I start my journey, to becoming a pro. So I went around Las Vegas. I asked my tennis friends who I knew were dabbling into pickleball. I said, hey, who do you know that plays pickleball? I started joining some groups, got out and played, and soon found another senior pro here in town. And I told him, hey, would you like to train? I said, I want to become a pro. And my goals are before the end of this year, meaning end of 2023, because I started at the end of 2022, I wanted to become a 5-0 player, right? I said I want to be a 5-0 player, and I want to finish in the top 20 in the world in senior pro. Yeah. And in 2024, I want to become a top 10 senior pro in the world. And him and some other players I met here said, well, those are ambitious goals,
Yeah, to say the least.
I said, but that's what I want. Whether I, and I had no measuring stick, right? I didn't know how good I was, if I was good. So I started hitting with them, and we started playing some games, and I said, yeah, you're pretty good. I think you could do okay. I think it could be top 10 in 2024. So I said, okay, but if we're going to play, I want to drill. And these other players here, they were committed. They said, okay, let's drill. So we started doing drills every day, 2 to 3 hours a day. And that's how I started. So I played, my first professional tournament was the Masters in Southern California.
Right.
And earlier this year, and I did okay. I went 2-2. And I saw who the good players were, and I beat a guy who was number 20 in the world in my first match. I said, okay. I'm okay. I think I'll be all right. So I came back home. I was excited. I trained even more, and again, drills. Right, I do very little, and this is still my routine. So people are wondering, how do you become so good, after such? And we'll start talking about that. I just did drills, and mostly drills geared towards singles play, because I knew that, I was a pretty fit 50-year-old, and I do, triathlons. I do Ironman triathlons, so I'm in pretty good shape.
Right. Oh yeah.
And I still
cardio is not going to be a problem.
No, it's not a problem. So I said, you know what? I wonder if other 50-year-olds are as fit as I am. And having been to the Masters, I said, well, some are, but some are not.
Right.
And I understand we're still 50.
Sure.
So I came back and I trained really hard. And then my next tournament, I went to play in Phoenix. I played the Desert Ridge. And I got to play, I won a couple rounds, and then I got to play Matthias Johansson, which is the number one singles player in the world.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous, playing him. It was the first really good player I was going to play, and he's the number one in the world. And I had never played anybody close to that. And I had been playing at the time for, 3-4 months, maybe.
Yeah.
And so I had a good showing. I lost 11-7, 11-7.
Oh, yeah, that's decent.
And it was very decent for me, considering how nervous I was and how good of a player he is. And, and he was very kind. And I said, hey, Matthias, you played me. What do you think? And he says, you're a very good player. You're just inexperienced, but I think you could do well. So came back, trained some more. And then I played the APP Mesa, a month or so later. And ran into Matthias in the semifinals, and APP is a come around. So it's not just a double elimination where you lose, so you can come around. So I lost to him in the semifinals. He beat me pretty badly. And he said, I'll see you in the final. And I said, Matthias, I don't know. I was the number 21 seed of this tournament of 22 people. Okay. That's how much of a newbie I was. I was 21 or 22. So I start all the way in the back. Everybody has a bye, and I start all the way in the back of the seed. Finally make my way to the semifinal, run into Matthias, lose, go back to the back draw, play some amazing senior players, all guys ranked in the top 15 in the world, somehow make it past them, and meet Matthias again in the final. My 8th match of the day, singles, right?
Holy cow.
Absolutely
Good
exhausted.
thing you're an Ironman.
But still, I don't care who you are.
I know.
I was exhausted. And lost to him 11-7, 11-8. And but at that point, I said, you know what? I think I belong. And after that tournament, my ranking really shot up. My duper went to the mid 550s, and I was already then I became a 5-0 player, and my ranking shot up slowly but surely. I made it all the way to number 3 in the world. So so as of a couple of weeks ago, I was number 3, and now I feel that I belong.
Absolutely.
And, so this past weekend I played a PPA Orange County Cup, and
San Clemente,
and I'm sure you'll guess the end of that story. Semifinals, ran into Matthias yet again.
He's got a long reach to pass.
Oh man, the guy is so good. He's so good. So, but it was not a come around. So he sent me back to the back draw. I came back. I won bronze, and but I had a great idea this tournament. I said, you know what? They say if you can't beat them, join them, right? So before the tournament, I said, Matthias, would you like to play doubles with me? And he said, let's do it. We've become, I'd say, pretty good friends, and we talk. He's such an amazing guy, and he said, sure, we'll be the singles guys, given our shot in doubles. So, it was amazing playing with him. What an awesome guy, and and I'm such a newbie. I mean, I've been playing this for 8 months now, and I'm still learning my way around, even though I can I can play and I have the shots, I still consider myself an inexperienced player, you know,
Sure.
despite my ranking and my few successes. And being around players like him, who really, he's the GOAT of singles and senior pro. Just seeing how he conducts himself, how he practices. You know,
Right.
we're warming up. We were literally warming up at 5:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
We were the first two people there. He's like, "I'll meet you here at 6." And of course,
Yeah.
you know, I was there early, and so was he.
Right. He's that kind of guy.
You know, but he's teaching me how to become a professional. You know, this is
Right.
what we do. This is how we
It's
train.
invaluable.
This
Right.
is how you scout opponents. So we're watching all our opponents' matches. So it was an amazing experience. But back to your question, you know, it's just a lot of training, and we can get into, if you want, you know, my training regimen, you know, and what I do and how I got to where I am now, and I'll be happy to share it.
Right on. And I do, because I'm one of those guys that I tell my wife I'm turning pro in everything I take up, except you actually turn pro. So I want to pick your brain, whether it's now or later, because I'm a guy that doesn't have, I don't have, you know, I, like anybody, I had a tennis racket, played some tennis. I had a, you know, I had a racquetball racket, played a little racquetball, but my background is not a racket sport. And I'm a two-man beach volleyball guy that played for 25 years. So I have court sense, but, you know, as you know, you move into pickleball and it's more like, you know, I was playing checkers. This is chess for sure. There's a lot more to it. So let's transition into going from, you know, going up to number 3 in the world in singles. Now you're working your way up the ladder to doubles. Whole other animal. So tell me, what did you learn playing with Matthias? Because obviously he's a guy too making this transition. He's made great strides the 2 years I've been paying attention to him in his doubles game. So what is it that you need to do, that you think, to get to a level that you want to get to in the doubles, knowing you have a lot of the shots though?
Yeah. Doubles and singles, you know, I come from tennis, and the tennis players will relate. Some people are better in singles, some people are better in doubles, but they are much more similar than pickleball singles versus pickleball doubles. I mean, it's a completely different animal. I am pretty successful in singles, but doubles is like a foreign language to me.
Sure.
And there is so much more thinking. So it you know, the shot selection is different. The thinking is different. Strategy is different. So it's amazing how I go from the singles court, where I feel really at home, to a doubles match, and and my brain is scrambled, you know. So I'm still finding my way around. And Matthias also, he's a singles specialist, you know. So the way we're playing the game is, you know, we drive the ball a lot. You know, we're power players. He's a hard hitter. I'm a hard hitter. And we played Scott Crandall and Dane Gingrich in doubles. They were the number 1 seed, and we actually got, you know, we lost in the third game. So we had a nice showing. But you could clearly see these guys are double specialists, and they understand the game in a way that I can only hope to someday. You know, so we were almost just hanging in there, so to speak. So I need to learn shot selection. I speed up way too often. You know, I drive from the baseline. I mean, there's so much for me to learn. The nice thing is that I do have the shots, you know, and I practice the shots. So dinking, you know, is something that I am practicing, and you need to be a consistent dinker, because when you're playing at that level with guys who are, you know, top 5, top 10 in the world in doubles, anything that a little bit high, these guys are 6 feet plus. I mean, it's over. You know, you're gonna eat that ball. So you have to be consistent, and it's not just thinking, because like, well, I can dink all day, but then you got to start thinking about dinking aggressively, right? And dinking to the inside foot, and dinking to the outside foot, and moving them around, trying to create a gap between them. There's so much to learn, and it's exciting because my singles road has been so fast to you know, nearly the top. Whereas doubles is almost like every day. It's like I learned something new, and I know how far I am from being at the very top. So it's exciting, you know. The learning curve is is
It's
fast.
huge. Yeah.
And and I know I'm a singles player. I know I'm a singles specialist, and then we'll talk about the NPL. And one of the reasons I joined the NPL is so I could get more doubles exposure.
Exactly. And,
and it's been humbling. It's been good. But I want that. I want to play. I had never played mixed doubles until NPL. And so again, you talk about singles different than doubles. Mixed versus men's
gender
is a completely different animal.
Hey there. Are you looking for news that is informative, insightful, and inspiring? Look no further than STM Daily News, the news source you can use this moment. Our website, podcast, and newsletter cover all the news that you need to know in everyday life, minus all the hard news, doom and gloom, partisan politics, and sensationalism. With STM Daily News, you can be sure that you'll learn something new and useful by the time you're finished reading, watching, or hearing our articles and stories. So don't miss out. Check out STM Daily News today.
New paddle company, Pickle, PCKL, great paddle line, great price points. Anything you want from starter paddle to intermediate to a pro series high level paddle. Check them out. Get 15% off using my discount code. Pickle, it's the future.
And I'm the nice guy, the gentleman, let her have her side. And my captains and team was like, no, you take over, you drive at the lady as hard as you can. I'm like, what do you mean I gotta drive at the lady as hard as I can? Go right at her.
This is a team aspect, right? So let's talk about NPL. Obviously, you went from deciding you're going to be a pro. Now, not only are you playing for yourself, you're playing for a team, and you can't just rely on your singles game to sort of necessarily carry you or the team, because there are no singles in NPL. So first event, obviously was a huge success. I mean, every match, you could watch live stream if you weren't there, people getting goodie bags. You could feel the enthusiasm just alone on YouTube. So first of all, let's just talk about the atmosphere and the feeling of playing on a team in a league, a brand new league, which, if we think about this, it's mind-blowing. There is a professional league where you get drafted being 50 plus. Mm-hmm. If you tell people this 6 months, a year ago, they'd be like, huh? So talk about the excitement of being part of MPL, and obviously a really cool team, and you got a great owner as well. So talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm, I was drafted luckily by the Oklahoma City Punishers. What a wonderful team. And I didn't know what to expect. NPL, it was the first season. I didn't know anybody. I went to the draft in Naples just before the US Open. And I'm sitting there, and literally, I knew one person in the entire room. Was a senior pro that I had played in Phoenix at one of my tournaments.
Okay.
I didn't know anybody else. So I'm sitting in the back of the room in a table, with some people around me. And I'm not exactly the most outgoing and talk to everybody kind of person.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there, hoping I get drafted. And, the draft is going on and nothing, right? People are getting called. And finally, it's the last team, Oklahoma City. Carol, our team owner, goes up there. Never met Carol. I see her calling all the names, and the names are being called, and nothing. And at the very end, there had been 16 players out of the 18 had been called. And I'm like, this is it. This is the most embarrassing moment of my life. I better just start walking towards
let me get out of here.
And by then I was already one of the top 10 senior players in the world. I'm like, I'm gonna get drafted for sure, right? I mean, I know I'm not a doubles guy, but I can play. And next thing, nothing, and then second to last, she called my name, and I went up there, and she said, hey, I'm like more relief than happiness. And she's like, hey, are you ready to be a Punisher? And I said, absolutely. And I met all my teammates. I didn't know any of them. So I met them all there that day. And since then, we've been to Oklahoma City. We've taught clinics together. We did a pro-am. We went to Dallas, and what a wonderful group of people. That are now friends, and it's such a different experience. It's hard to put into words. When you're in a team cheering for you, and all your teammates are cheering for you, versus not only the singles experience of being in a tournament, But you got to remember, when I started pickleball, I didn't know anybody, right? So I'm going to these tournaments and I'm playing and I'm doing okay. But every match, my wife, she stayed in Las Vegas. She hasn't come to a tournament yet. So I'm there by myself. I don't know any players.
Yeah.
So
it's a lonely road.
You have no idea. It's just me against my opponent, and their friends and buddies were cheering against me.
Right.
And I'd call my wife after a couple rounds, even though I had won. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
It's like me against the world. Like, I don't know anybody. I don't have any friends. And it's their wives and their friends and the people from their cities that are also playing, that are cheering against me. Like, there's zero people cheering for me. Right. And now, of course, that has changed. I've met some guys, and I have some friends, and it's not as lonely. But NPL, I mean, what a wonderful just environment. Everybody's playing together at these Chicken and Pickles. An awesome facility. All the teams, all the players, just all the courts one next to the other. He's screaming over here, screaming over there. Everybody's cheering for each other. It's been so fun. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you can tell there is a pretty tight knit community of senior champion pros, because I follow I'm the senior pickleball report. So I follow the senior game and I watch all the matches, but then I follow them all and, on the social platforms, and it is fierce competition at a very, very high level. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty cool community of people. And I think NPL has really expanded that community with people like yourself who are kind of on the outside looking in and playing singles and sitting by yourself. And now you have a full team and 6 other teams that you're going to become intimately familiar with, because you're going to be playing, a season with them all. So pretty cool thing to happen to you within the first, 6 to 8 months of your playing career, to land on a team and get a bunch of new friends and people that you can learn from.
Yeah, one of the things that has me most excited about NPL is the caliber of the players.
Yeah,
when you have a first year league, you don't know who's going to join.
Sure,
you just take a shot and like, well, maybe the top guys are not going to be interested, and I want to play against the best, right? Whether I am the best or not, as I'm sure anybody would want to play against the best, and to see the level of the players and all the top doubles players in the world are playing NPL.
Yeah,
that's exciting. You get to see them, you get to talk to them, you get to play with them, you get to play against them. It's so that was really nice. Both male and female. You have the top players in the world. The overall best players in the world. You have Rick Witzkin, who's probably overall, as in when you put together singles, mixed doubles.
Yeah, the 3 disciplines, right?
Yeah, 3 disciplines, and you have Beth Bellamy, who's, thank God, is on my team.
No kidding.
and she's the senior GOAT when it comes to both singles, mixed and gender. So so just to be around these people again, for me, I didn't know them before this, and just to play with them, against them, and be around them and seeing their routines and watching them play is just an awesome learning experience, and it's been phenomenal. I played in Dallas, and I had a great time. I played pretty well. Of course, it's nerve-wracking because you're not playing just for yourself, right? You're playing
for the thing, right?
For the team. Yeah. So there was one particular match that I was playing mixed doubles, and my team, somebody comes over to me and says, "Hey, by the way, you have to win for our team to have a chance." Great. It was my first match. So here I'm trying to impress my team and try not to let the team down. Well, you have to win. And I think we lost the first game 11-2 or 11-3. We were down 6-0.
Oh,
we were down 6-0. And I'm like, okay, here my team is like, this guy, why, can we trade him? Send him to Boca Raton, but we don't want him.
Yeah.
So we call a timeout. I'm like, I'm sorry, I apologize to my partner. This is just a disaster. And one of my teammates is Jaime Onsins. He's a Brazilian guy like myself. Tremendous one, the top Brazilian tennis player when I was growing up. So I grew up watching him play.
Right. Yeah. And there he is in your circle.
So now he's on my team, and he also happens to be the Davis Cup captain for the Brazilian team in tennis. So he's just a teammate, right? I just met him the day before, and here he runs onto the court, and I'm like, oh my, what's happening? And he says, "Alex, and he runs, and Beth also runs into the court. They're both coming. They're like, okay, we got to save these two, from ruining this for us. So he says, Alex, from now on, you just drive at the lady.
Yeah.
Just every shot, drive. Don't dink. Don't just drive.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I should have known, but it was my first.
Oh yeah. I mean, first mixed ever, really. I mean, in competition.
Okay. All of a sudden, I'm driving at this lady, and I have coming from a singles background, and I can hit the ball pretty hard. So I start hitting at her, and she starts, getting a little uncomfortable, and we turn it around. We win that game, and then we end up winning the next game, which was incredible. And my whole team is there cheering because we have to win in order for us to have a chance. Yeah, and it was so fun. Everybody cheering you on, and of course, got to mention, they're all live streamed.
Right.
So, which every match in NPL is live stream, which for seniors is just incredible.
It is.
I got my mom in Brazil, watching me play. And so I told her about it. It wasn't sure she was going to watch it. So she's there watching it live, not recorded,
How cool
living
is that
moment with me. And then she calls me after the match. It's like, oh my God, it's so exciting.
Right.
And they're cheering you on, and you have, my kids watching in Las Vegas. It's like, that's how pickleball should be.
Absolutely. And you bring up a great point, because obviously if anybody watches, the main tours, the APP, PPA, MLP, nobody's live streaming eight courts, but NPL is, and that is an unbelievable, I think, I don't know, it's another level, because if you're going to have and put on a professional event, you want to see it. You don't always want to see the same players. You want to see some people that you root for, just like you would in any sport, whether it's somebody or somebody you just like the way they play, and to get to watch all those matches. And this is the first event out of the gate. I mean, the organizers of NPL, in my opinion, hit it out of the park. You want to have a good first impression. Wow. I mean, what a first good, at least from a viewer standpoint. And you could talk, and you've talked a little bit about the players' sort of experience. They hit it out of the park, in my estimation.
Yeah, the whole experience is so nice. Michael Chen, one of the founders, the first evening we had a dinner that they put together, which is another thing they do fabulously, is they will feed us. They give us lunch, breakfast. They'll have a dinner for us. We have goodie bags. We have T-shirts, more than we know what to do with. Hoodies, backpacks, stuff that you never dream of. I played at the PPA. I don't even get a T-shirt over there. Right. So, they do. And Michael Chen, he said, go where you're wanted and welcome. And we do feel welcomed at NPL, and it's such a they could just give us a T-shirt or like everywhere else, but they do try to make it really special and wanted, and we are, and I do feel that way.
You're treated like professionals. I mean, if you look at professional sports, that's how they're treated, and you are being treated that way, and rightly so. You earned your spot on this team. Nobody gave this to you, so it's something you earned, and this is the payoff. Certainly not. And, all the games are, live streamed, and then they actually have them still online, which I didn't know if they were going to or not. And the numbers don't lie. So I will obviously go watch my matches to see how I played and where I can improve and whatnot. But when I go to see my videos, and I'm not, a Paul Olin, I'm not one of the top players. I'm playing the third line, the fourth line. Sure. So I'm thinking the only person watching this is my mom, and maybe my the spouse of my not true, but then you see like 3, 4, 5,000 views on these videos. Like, what? There's people. I'm just a senior playing doubles. Nobody cares. But people do. They actually do watch it. So the top matches, there's probably 10,000 people or more. Watching it. So there is actually, we sell ourselves short even as seniors. But then we're like, what? There's people that pay attention, and there's people that care, and there's people that follow seniors, and there's value that we bring. Because when I started, I said, well, it's just senior pickleball, but I have sponsors. I have people that sponsor me financially and give me money. I have sponsors who give me stuff and gear,
And I'm like, you know what? There's people that pay attention to senior pickleball, and
Yeah.
you know, we can there's actual followers. So, you know,
Yeah.
again, to me is a surprise, but it's nice. And the
Yeah.
NPL, I mean, those guys are great. It's been, I can't wait to we're going to Kansas City in a couple of weeks. When are you going to be at
I'll be in
NPL?
Kansas City.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be there for
Wonderful.
a session. And I think what you touched upon is very important. I think the reason, at least in my estimation, of why you're getting the numbers of people watching is it's relatable. You know, we're not all going to walk out in the court and necessarily be Ben Johns or Annalie Waters. And obviously a lot of people that are playing at this level in the Champions Tour age are people that are coming from other sports, having a second career in pickleball and excelling at it. So when you watch online or you walk into a Chicken and Pickle and you see people that may look like you or your age and doing something at a very, very high level, it's really sort of cool because you're like, wow, it's inspiring because you're like, there's people out here that are 50 plus, and the speed and the touch and the strategy that they are implementing in their game is unbelievable. And that's why I always tell people, you need to go see it in person, because it's one thing to watch it online, but to see it up close, standing next to like a fence and watching seniors play this game, it's no joke. I mean, it is high level ball. And obviously you can attest to that, having gone through the gauntlet over the last 6 to 8 months. So let's talk about how you got to the place you've gotten to and the training that you do to get you to where you are and then maintain. And then obviously you want to go to the next level, not only in singles, but I think you're just getting a taste of doubles, and we'll see what you're doing in the next year. But let's talk about your training.
Yeah. So mostly I drill probably 6 days a week. Okay. So it's 2 hours at least, usually between 2 and 3, but let's say at least 2 hours of drilling. Right. So it's pretty much warm up, just dink, across from your partner, then cross court, backhands, other side, just to warm up. Then we go into, and we can decide if we want to practice more doubles drills or singles drills. So we do some drops, one guy at the net, the other guy in the back, just working his way back, working his way forward. We do fast hands, so that's more like doubles drills, fast hands at the net. And then we usually go into singles because both, the people I train with and we're mostly singles driven. So we always do some singles. We practice serves, which I think is one of the most underutilized weapons,
that's good to know.
In pickleball. If you ever faced a hard server, you know how hard it is to return that. And, especially in singles, you want to, have a good serve and get a couple 3 points on serve. So I see a lot of people playing it at all levels, even at pro levels. And I'm like, I can't believe they just put the ball in, and one thing that I learned in tennis is the serve in tennis, and is the same thing as serve in pickleball. The serve is the one shot that your opponent has no control at all over. It's 100% you. So how long you take, how you toss the ball is not going to come back spinning or hard. You do everything. You take your time. It starts when you're ready to start. So there's no reason for you to just casually walk up to the line and just put the ball over, or God forbid, miss, a serve. So I'm like, you know what? I need to use that. I need to serve deep. I need to practice my serve. So we always practice serves. We practice returns, and then we maybe at the end, not always, we play, a couple points, but more often than not, we don't. So drilling is essential. I know it's not the sexiest thing. I know it's not the most fun thing. A lot of people don't like drilling. Drill.
I do.
But, you need to decide what your goals are in pickleball. My goal was to become a professional. I had very set, guidelines and goals that I wanted to meet. So I decided I wanted to be, top 20 within 1 year, top 10 within 2 years.
Right.
And in order to do that, playing, an hour, 2 hours of rec doubles is not going to get you there. It's not going to get me there. So for me, it's not necessarily, let's go out and have fun. Is let's go out and train and practice so I can reach my goals. So that's, you need to be very clear about what you want, because a lot of players, oh, I can't get better. Well, what are you doing? You know,
Right.
well, I go into the park and I play 3 times a week, you know, some rec games, or I go to the challenge courts, and, you know, challenge courts, unless you're winning, you know, you lose and you wait, you know, 4 rounds before it's your round again.
Sure.
So you get, you know, out of 3 hours, you get 20 minutes on court. So that's not it. You know, find a court, find a buddy, you know, find a friend or find a few friends. You can drill with more than one person. So drilling is essential in my point of view. Is really what got me there. And I work on my strokes, and I try different things, because of course my tennis game, you know, I hit the ball a certain way. I hit my returns a certain way, 2 hands. I hit it. In pickleball, I like slicing my return and making my way to the net. So those things, you know, you figure out while you drill, and you just do it over and over and over again. You hit the same shot, you know, over and over.
A million times.
Then, however long it takes. But you will get better, right?
Yeah.
You will get better. And then the other aspect is, you know, you need to figure out where your game fits, right? So in my case, when I decided to become a pickleball pro, I said, well, what are my strengths without ever having played pickleball? Right. I'm in good shape physically. I'm still agile. I can still move well. I can play for a long time. You know, I'm you know, I can jump around a court. So I said, well, singles would be much better for me, right? Because if I want to use my physical aspect and think that I can somewhat dominate in that regard, playing doubles is pointless. So even if I wanted to become a doubles specialist, it would take me longer, as it has. Right? So I said the fit for me would be much more of a singles player. I'd have more success in singles. And for tennis players, you can become a singles player better in pickleball much faster than you can a doubles player, as I'm finding out. So that's something else I train. You know, I do footwork drills. You know, you don't need. I don't have a trainer, by the way. I don't have a coach. I don't have a trainer. I'm fully self-taught in pickleball. It's basically YouTube is my coach.
You and me, brother.
I just watch videos, and you know, I want to be more agile on the court. So I look footwork drills. You know, there's no pickleball footwork drills, but any tennis footwork drill or any, you know, sport really, you just find on YouTube, and there's all kinds of people, or Instagram, if you have it, you can find them teaching you for free. So I go to my gym and I just do footwork drills, and I just do whatever I find online. I run, I do trail running here across from my house. So the physical aspect has been very important. So I train as much as I do on court, I do off court. So those are the two things. And I cannot stress enough the physical aspect, how it's been key, you know, in my success, because I can really, guys have a hard time passing me, other than Matthias. He passes me almost at will. But other than that, you know, people are very surprised how well I get to balls. You know, like I had 2 different people that I played against in San Clemente this past weekend. And the joke was, you know, we want to see his birth certificate, you know, because they're like, there's no way this guy is 50 years old, you know, moving the way he moves around the court. But that's, you know, I don't have the experience. I don't have the strategy mindset that they have, or the knowledge that they have, because they played for 3, 4, 5, 6, however many years. So I compensate with my physicality. So, you know, hopefully I'll get better on the other part, and I'll still maintain my, you know, the physical aspect. So, but as you can see, I train to win and be competitive. You know, this is not, I'm not a weekend pickleball player. I want to be good. It's no secret, even to Matthias, that I'd like to be number 1 in the world. I want to surpass him, and he welcomes it. He's such a phenomenal guy. He will even give me advice on after he cleans my clock. And he will tell me, you know, I think you should do this. I think you should do that. You know, your game would be more improved. So that is my goal, and improve it. Doubles as much as I can. Will I ever be number 1 in the world in doubles? I don't know. But I can only be the best I can be. And if, you know, I never become number 1 and number 3 is the best I can be, I'll be happy with that. But I'll never wish that I had done more, you know, in order to get to where I got.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I don't think this is any sort of secret. It's common for people who rise to the top. They put in the work. and there's no substitute for the work, and you're doing that. And obviously, you know what your weaknesses are and your strengths are, and you're playing to both of those sides and succeeding with your fitness. But you know that obviously long term, you got to figure out some things strategy wise and the shots and the shot selection, like you mentioned earlier. Great. Thank you for sharing that. Let's talk about the rest of your season. Obviously, you got 5 more events for MPL coming up. What tournaments are you looking at outside of those that you're kind of highlighting on your year?
At this point, I haven't signed up for anything. And that is strategic because I've lost, I've played, funny enough, I only played 4 professional tournaments. It's amazing that when I think about that, I only played 4 tournaments. I'm already ranked, top 5 in the world.
Yeah.
I must have done well in those tournaments. And out of, I have 6 professional losses and 4 of them are to Matthias.
Right. There you go.
So he is, what I'm going against. And I need to figure out how to get past him.
Yeah.
So I'm actually taking some time off and revisiting what I've done because, Madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Right.
Every time I play him the same way.
Yeah.
So I need to revise how I play the game. I need to revise, how I think about the game, how I think about single strategy, how I play against him, because I hope to run into him again. So I'm going to take, maybe a month or 2 off working on my game, and getting more fit because I did spend some time traveling, which also took me away from training. And I'd love to cover that, because I traveled to Asia and I taught some pickleball players over there. So I'd love to mention that. And that completely changed my approach to pickleball too, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So I don't know when my next tournament will be. I imagine in 3 months or so, or probably 2 months, I'll start again. But I want to be in top form. I don't want to go to tournaments again, and I don't want to sound arrogant either. But I know who I'm losing to. And it's every time the same person. And so my focus is, what do I need to do to get past him? And I'm not saying that the day I beat him, that I will then consider myself number 1 in the world. Maybe not, because I can tell that he's just a level above everybody, not just myself.
He'll make adjustments too.
Absolutely. And he's had a rough couple months, but he made adjustments to his game. So now he even said, my flow is back. And of all the 4 times I played him, this one, he beat me the worst. I mean, this guy is playing amazing, so I gotta, I don't want to just keep doing the same things and losing to him. And I'm sure a lot of people are like, well, if I only lost to him, I'd feel amazing, but that's not how I think. It's not good enough for me anymore, and I lost to him at Desert Ridge. I was thrilled to death that I made bronze. When I got bronze at San Clemente, I didn't feel that joy. I'm like, here I go. I lost to him again, and I'm not getting any closer to beating him. So that's my, just the competitor in me.
Absolutely.
I got to get better. I got to change my game. I got to figure different ways to play the game. I can't be so one-dimensional. And maybe next time I'll get him.
Absolutely. And, I've been told, and it's absolutely true. This game, in every match, in every game, is a puzzle that you got to try and solve in a short period of time. And he's your puzzle right now.
He is my puzzle.
And I love the approach that, you're not just going to keep charging forward and doing the same thing over and over. You're taking some time. I'm sure you're watching matches that he plays and obviously his tendencies and all that kind of stuff, and vice versa. He knows you're coming. I've interviewed him. He's a great guy. He's not dumb. He's there for a reason. And but let's get to what you talked about earlier. You went overseas, obviously, and you're teaching a little bit, and talk about why you're doing that, how that came to be.
Yeah. So I was scheduled to go to Hong Kong. My oldest daughter lives there, and she has been there for a year. She's only 20, so she left when she was 19. She works at Disneyland. I am not allowed to say what she does for a living, but she wears a white dress and a white wig, and she dances and sings. So
she's talented.
She's talented. She did not want anything to do with sports. I was when she was born. I have 2 daughters, and I wanted to be the next William's dad, and I wanted my daughters I was going to be the coach, and they were going to be tennis players. Well, both are artists and no athletes here. But nevertheless, so she's following her dreams. She moved to Hong Kong, and I decided to go to Hong Kong. Well, I had to go. I hadn't seen her in almost a year and wanted to visit her. So I said, you know what? What if there's pickleball in Hong Kong? And maybe I can find some guys to play. And I'm going to be gone. I'm used to playing 6 days a week, at least, if not 7. So all of a sudden I'm going for 2 weeks and no pickleball. I'm like, I got to go out and find some pickleball, at least for a day or 2. So I go on Facebook and I find these groups like the Hong Kong Pickleball Association and Hong Kong Pickleball this. And I write them a message. Say, listen, guys, I'm a pretty decent player.
Yeah.
I'm, about a 5'5" duper. And so I can play the game. I'd love to come play with you guys. And I said, and if you want, I'll even teach a clinic free of cost. I'll just come. And so they write me back and I said, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
They said,
awesome.
They say, we don't even have a 5-0 player on the island,
Okay.
I said, how many players do you have? I said, we have about 1,000. And they said, we have a couple of 4-5s, but that's as good as it gets. And the rest of us are all like 3-0, 3-5 at best. And they're like, let's do a clinic. So I'm like, okay, let's do a clinic. So I go to Hong Kong, they come pick me up and they take me to this place and it's full of badminton courts, right? Badminton.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Huge.
In Asia. So we get there and they start unloading their cars, right? They have all these bags. I'm like, okay, so we get, and there's a badminton court. And I'm like, where's the pickleball courts? He goes, oh, we don't have a pickleball courts. And I said, oh, there's no pickleball courts here? They go, there's no pickleball courts anywhere.
Oh.
Single pickleball court.
Wow.
In all of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
There are no courts. So he says, we just play wherever we can.
Yeah.
So we go on this badminton court, pull out their net, put up our nets. Everybody has their painter's tape. It's like all these like 20 of us, everybody taping it up and off we go. And the guy says, okay, start teaching a clinic.
Yeah.
So I'm not a coach, right? I'm just a player. But I understand the game and and I can teach any 3-5, 3-0 player.
Sure.
So I'm starting to coach, right? And I'm really enjoying this. Like this is a good time, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is really nice. So I do a couple hours. We end up playing a few games, and they love playing games with pros, right? They like teaching, but they love playing games.
Are you looking to stay up to date on the latest pickleball news and tips? Look no further than the Sleeve Senior Pickleball Report newsletter. Get the scoop on the sport, learn how to stay healthy while playing, and find out about upcoming tournaments. Subscribe now to get all the pickleball info you need.
Hey, if you're looking for very, very comfortable court shoes, in fact, the most comfortable court shoes I've ever worn, and I've worn a lot of them over the years playing different sports, try Fitville. We have a link in the description that gets you $20 off your purchase.
But it's full of holes. So there's water coming through, right? Puddles of water. And I'm like, oh, this is a bummer. We won't be able to play. They're like, what are you talking about? Won't be able to play? He goes, we're setting up right there. I said, there's puddles over there. We'll never be able to make a full-size court. He goes, we don't plan on a full size. This is kitchen only. We're just building a kitchen on each side.
Oh, wow.
We do a kitchen. It's wet. And we're just doing fast hands and dinking.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, man, we play wherever, whenever. There isn't, and I'm like, oh my God, they're really appreciating the course 1 minute from my house here. I'm complaining that they're too busy, it's too windy, it's too this, it's too that.
Yeah.
And these people are playing literally in the rain.
Yeah.
So it was incredible. And that experience really shifted my whole approach to pickleball. I started thinking about where I want to go. And I love playing professional. I still want to play professional. But I think there's something else. I felt like an ambassador of the sport.
Yeah, for sure.
It gave me so much joy teaching these classes. And I came back to the hotel and I told my wife, something is happening, I want to do this again. And I want to do it again here. I want to do it again in other countries. I want to do it again, in South America where I'm from. And people love the sport. So, in addition to my professional career, I'm looking at other things. I'd love to do camps in different places. So look out for an Alex Simon camp. I'd love to do destination camps in different countries. And I started researching. Right after that, I came back and said, well, where do they play pickleball? Where's pickleball in the world? Right? So I'm finding all these federations online, and people are playing, in Iran, people are playing pickleball. I found this Uganda in Africa.
Right.
Pickleball Federation, and same thing, all taped courts. They don't have
some of them on dirt.
Dirt in the Philippines. In the Philippines, on the streets, I saw this picture. There's this long street, and they built.
Yeah.
They created these. They just put nets and they tape it, and court after court after court, and they're playing on the street in the Philippines. And I'm like, you know what? Pickleball is easy. You know,
it is.
You can play anywhere if you have enough room, and you have a net which literally fits inside a little bag which you carry. And you have painter's tape.
Right.
2 paddles and a few balls. You got a game going.
Absolutely.
So, I'm like, it's so simple. So why not bring it to, less developed countries? Why not bring it to slums in Brazil? Why not bring it to, so my mind these days is like, how can I, just preach pickleball and bring it to people and take kids off, the streets for the wrong reasons and bring them to the streets to play pickleball and actually change their lives. And I look at myself, I'm like, well, there's 2 aspects to my pickleball life. One is I call the selfish part, which is the pro part, right? Mm-hmm. It's about me. It's about me winning. It's about me being number 1 in the world and all that. But I like the selfless part, you know, where it's like, hey, I'm already 50 years old. I have a few years left of professional pickleball. But what after that? Do I just quit? No, I want to teach people to play. I want to show it to people. I want to bring it to people. So ever since I came back from Hong Kong, which is only, not even a month ago, my whole
turning
mindset. But I'm excited about it. Before it was just pressure to perform. Now it's like, I'm more like, how can I change the world, a little bit?
Absolutely.
By bringing pickleball to people. How can I get pickleball paddles to people that can't afford paddles? So there's all these things going on, which got me excited, more excited than my professional playing, because that is, that's just for me, and it doesn't really affect anybody directly.
I get it. Absolutely. I think, it's an amazing story, Alex. I've traveled, I've been to Uganda, and I've been to some places. In particular, what I remember when I was in Nicaragua, there were kids playing soccer with just a crunched up water bottle. And then there was kids playing baseball. They had a ball of tape and they didn't have no bat. They just used their arms. And these kids were having the times of their lives. And I'm like, we go around the States and we see all these high-end facilities. Obviously, you've played at some of these places in Arizona, and you're like, there's courts and fields and high-end stuff everywhere. And it doesn't take much to bring joy to people's lives in a game that you mentioned earlier that is so simple and doesn't need a lot of space to set up or resources to set up. And people, for whatever reason, I don't know, this game's been around nearly 60 years, but for whatever reason now, man, it's sort of this magnet of just joy. And once it touches people's lives, like yourself, and then you bring it to other people and you're teaching in a rainy kitchen area. It's incredible what it does. And I try to, figure out why it's doing this, but who cares? Because whatever it is, it seems to be some sort of uniting factor that I think the world could really use. And it's really cool that you've not only discovered your own joy for the game, but now you're discovering it's really cool bringing joy to other people as well with it. So
absolutely.
Right on, man. Right on. So, hey, if you ever want to coach somebody up and bring me along, I'll help coach. I've coached a lot of sports. I was a high school teacher, so I'm good with people. I'd be all over that. So, hey, before we go, let's talk about some of the people you want to give shout outs to, sponsors, people who supported you, gotten you through, and continue to carry you at least this portion of your game.
Yeah, it's been a short road. I'm, of course, always looking for sponsors. So if anybody
absolutely.
out there wants to help me out, that'd be wonderful. First and foremost, my wife. She puts up with my craziness, me being gone all the time, and we run a business together from home. So she needs to pick up my slack. So she's the number one sponsor and supporter of this journey. Tosi Snacks. It's, you know what? Matthias Johansson is sponsored by Tosi, and I was introduced to the product by him. And so I called them up. I said, listen, I'd love to try your snacks. And they sent me a box, and this stuff is phenomenal.
Right on.
Trust me, and I'm an Ironman triathlete. I'm the king of granola bars and power bars and whatnot. I know this stuff is phenomenal. So I told them, hey guys, I want a sponsorship. Need any money? Just send me product. Just send me a box every month. And so they do, and they've been just the best. And what an awesome group. So Toasty Snacks, Performance Steel has nothing to do with pickleball. My buddy Jim Russell, just a supporter of me personally.
Very cool.
Helped me financially in the beginning of my career, helped me with travel, just out of the kindness of his heart. There's no reason, so I got to give him a shout out.
Absolutely.
Of course, all the podcasts, that have me on and let me tell my little story, and I hope it inspires somebody to become better, or however they use it. So I appreciate the platform, and
absolutely.
But there's some paddle companies that send me stuff, but nobody official. So I don't want to upset anybody. They want me to try it out, and I try it out. So thank you to whoever's sending me all these paddles. But there's a lot more to come, and it's been such a fun road. Pickleball is really it's changing my life, and it's changing my future. And I see being involved for a long time.
Right on. Hey, thanks a lot, Alex. I mean, phenomenal story, phenomenal interview. You're very easy to talk to. Best of luck with OKC Punishers, NPL.
Thank you.
And going after the king, Matthias. That's no joke, man, as you know.
Absolutely.
So, hope to meet you in Kansas City, and give me a couple tips.
For sure. My pleasure.
Hope you enjoyed our chat with Alex. Check out our newsletter as a reminder. Get your fix on everything pickleball. And hey, let's pickle. Hey, if you're looking for very, very comfortable court shoes, in fact, the most comfortable court shoes I've ever worn, and I've worn a lot of them over the years playing different sports, try Fitville. We have a link in the description that gets you $20 off your purchase.